Welcome back. Today's topic is cheese production. First, what is cheese? Cheese is the partially degraded concentrate of milk fat and casein with a small amount of milk fluid, and a large amount of the milk produced is used in the manufacture of cheese. Usually the milk of cow, goat, buffalo and sheep etc. are used. The manufacture of all the cheese depends upon the activity of the microorganisms. Several hundreds of varieties of cheese are manufactured, and the most common fact of them can be made from same batch of milk. This is possible by providing the condition that favors the development of selected type of microorganisms. The cheese style, texture and flavor depends on the origin of the milk, whether they have been pasteurized, the butter fat content, the bacteria and the mold, the processing, and how long they have been aged for. Herbs, spices or wood smokes may also be used as a flavoring agents. The yellow to red color of many cheese is produced by adding annatto. Other ingredients may be added to some cheeses such as black pepper, garlic, cranberries, etc. Cheese is valued for its portability, long life, and high content of fat, protein, calcium, and phosphorus. Cheese is more compact and has high shelf life than milk. Moving on to the cheese production. Cheese production is completed by following three main steps. First is coagulum formation, separation of the curd, and next is separation of the curd from the whey, and the final step is ripening of the cheese. Here in this slide I have provided a flow chart which represents various steps in cheese production. The first step is coagulum formation. Milk coagulation occurs due to two distinct activity. The first is inoculation with the bacteria and the second is incubation with rennet. In the first step, inoculation with the bacterial culture, various microorganisms can be used such as Streptococcus lactis or Streptococcus ceremoreus for incubation at 31 degrees Celsius, or Streptococcus thermophilus with Lactobacillus lactis can also be used. Lactobacillus bulgaricus, Lactobacillus helveticus can also be used, which results in degradation of lactose to produce lactic acid, incubated at 50 degrees Celsius, which lowers the pH to about 4.6. And the next step is incubation with rennet, which cleaves kappa casein into para kappa casein and casino micropeptide. This cleavage occurs at a specific peptide bond between phenylalanine at a position 105 and methionine at a position 106 and leads to coagulation of alpha and beta casein and the kappa casein hydrolysis products. The rennet traditionally is obtained from the fourth stomach of unweaned calves has been used, but at present rennet from the microbial source is used extensively and is responsible for about 70% of the US and 30% of the worldwide cheese production. But the rennet obtained from the Mucor mihi is relatively more thermostable and hence remains active during ripening, which often produces bitter off flavors. Therefore, it is treated with oxidizing agents like hydrogen peroxide, parasites, etc., which converts the methionine residues to their sulfoxides. These reduce the temperature tolerance of the enzyme by 10 degrees Celsius and makes Mucor mihi rennet more comparable to calf rennet. Attempts to clone calf chymosin gene in E. coli and Saccharomyces cerevisiae have been successful, but active renin is secreted only by the yeast. The second step involved in cheese production is separation of the curd. The coagulum is heated to 37 degrees Celsius and cooled. This eliminates the activity of rennet. The curd is separated from the whey and is salted and mixed with protease and lipase enzyme. The bricks of cheese may be inoculated with specific strains of fungi such as Penicillium roqueforti, Penicillium camemberti, etc. The bricks are pressed to remove the excess moisture to to enable proper ripening. The final step involved in cheese production is ripening. The ripening procedures will vary with the type of the cheese to be produced. The cheese bricks are inoculated with specific strains of fungi for the development of appropriate flavor through protease and lipase activity. Protease from Bacillus amyloliquefaciens are used to enhance the flavor in cheddar cheese. Protease hydrolyzes proteins to produce variable size of peptides. Peptides having terminal acidic amino acid residue produces meaty appetizing flavor, but with hydrophobic amino acid residue located on non-terminally produces bitter flavor. The flavor are the strongest in the medium size peptide and is absent in longer size peptides. Therefore, the kind and the degree of flavor in cheese can be controlled by regulating the protein hydrolysis. The stronger flavor of Italian cheese are produced by a modest lipid hydrolysis, which increase the amount of free butyric acid. Lipolysis is brought about by lipase from Mucor-Mehi or Aspergillus niger. The lipase is added to the milk at 30 units per liter before addition of the rennet. Thus, cheese production present examples of the following: use of the microorganisms for food processing to enhance the flavor, texture, etc. Use of the enzymes in food processing, and the third is enzyme modification by chemical reaction to suit specific needs, and the fourth is use of recombinant DNA technology to produce the enzymes for food processing by cloning or chymosin genes. We have studied here about the cheese production. Now we get to know the different types of cheeses. The types of cheeses are divided into depending upon whether the curd is formed by the action of lactic acid or it is developed by the action of rennet or renin enzyme. They are grouped as acid curd cheese or cottage cheese, also known as cottage cheese, and rennet curd cheese. The acid curd cheese are the type to prepare this cheese. The milk is allowed to source spontaneously or as a result of inoculation with starter of bacterial culture Streptococcus lactis or lactobacilli are inoculated to grow in it until they produce sufficient acid to allow the milk curdle. The curd is separated from the whey, some salt is added to it and formed into balls or cakes. This cheese is ready for the consumption now. Such cheeses cannot be kept for very long period because molds and yeast begin to develop, which soon spoils the flavor and render the cheese unfit for consumption. The second type of cheese is rennet curd cheese. It has a great variety of cheese produced by the action of rennet or renin enzyme. There are two types: soft rennet curd cheese and hard rennet curd cheese. The soft rennet curd cheese have generally poor keeping qualities and a short ripening period. Those which are prepared by bacterial actions are known as Limburger and Linderkranz, and their varieties, those prepared by the action of molds, we known as Camembert and Brie. Limburger cheese is relatively prepared by adding little salt to the curd, and the cheese is handled frequently so the bacterial growth occurs on the surface. This bacteria destroys the acid and permits the partial putrefaction and decomposition of the casein, giving the characteristic flavor. Whereas Linderkranz cheese is similar to Limburger cheese, except that considerable salt is added to the curd. This promotes a different flora to be growth on the surface of the cheese. Thus, the different flavor is obtained. In the Camembert cheese, the curd is retained a much larger portion of the whey. The cheese is molded into small cakes and placed in the curing room. Molds soon cover the surface of the cheese. Molds such as Geotrichum candidum and various species of Penicillium, particularly Penicillium camemberti. These molds are capable of utilizing organic acid as the food. The acid of the cheese is thus gradually reduces, and at the same time the mold secretes proteolytic enzymes which gradually diffuses towards the interior portion of the cheese. It is believed that the proteolytic changes in the texture of this cheese ripening are due to the penicillium, while the characteristic flavor has been due to Geotrichum. The second type is hard rennet curd cheese, which consists of less than 40% of water. The hard rennet curd cheese have a long ripening period. They in fact they may be preserved for years. American cheese or cheddar cheese and Swiss cheese are the examples of this, in which bacteria are primarily involved in the culturing process. Roquefort, Loa blue cheese are the examples of this cheese, in which the ripening process is carried out primarily by molds. American cheese or cheddar cheese is prepared by the precipitation of the curd after acidification with rennet. The whey is drained off and the curd is salted, and then the excess whey is pressed out of it by pressing the curd in a cheese press. The cheese is stored and gradually develop a flavor due to slow bacterial action. Its flavor depends somewhat on its age. The older the cheese, the greater the degree of decomposition of the proteins to amino acid and the sharper the flavor. Swiss cheese, the second type of hard cheese. Swiss cheese. For the preparation of Swiss cheese, fresh sweet milk is taken and heated in a large kettle at 56 degrees Celsius. At this temperature, rennet, a starter culture containing thermophilic organisms, that is Streptococcus thermophilus, and some thermophilic lactobacilli also. These bacteria are added. It is the later bacteria which gives Swiss cheese its characteristic flavor, and the gas produced causes holes. Swiss cheese is graded on the number of holes, their size, and whether or not the inside is shiny. Roquefort cheese is probably the best known cheese made from sheep's milk. However, other milk is frequently used for the preparation of this cheese also. The cut surface of this cheese shows a characteristic greenish blue mottling due to the presence of a specific mold called Penicillium roquefort. The cheese are again divided into two distinct types depending on the fat content present in it, that is high fat cheese and low fat cheese. The high fat cheese curd is added with cream so that it can reach the level of 60%, the fat content reach to the level of 60% and above, and low fat cheese curd is not added with cream, resulting in low fat content to be less than 60%. And it is again the cheese is again divided into three types based on the physical state of structure, that is soft cheese, semi-hard cheese, and hard cheese. The soft cheese category include ripened and unripened types. The unripened cheese examples are cottage cheese, Stilton cheese, etc. And the bacteria ripened cheese are Limburger cheese, and the mold ripened cheese are Camembert cheese, etc. The semi-hard cheese includes only ripened type of cheese, which is neither soft nor hard. The ripening is done by both bacteria and fungi. The mold ripened cheese are Roquefort cheese and Stilton cheese, and the bacteria ripened cheese are brick cheese. The hard cheese. These hard cheese are of hard texture cheese and include only ripened types, and the hard cheese are only ripened by bacteria. The cheese with gas holes are the example is Swiss cheese, Parmesan cheese, and the cheese without gas holes are cheddar cheese and Edam cheese, etc. I will provide you with a flow chart of the types of cheese so that it will be easy for you to remember. The types of cheese are divided into acid curd cheese and rennet curd cheese. The rennet curd cheese is again divided into two types, that is soft and hard cheese. The example of soft cheese are Limburger, Linderkranz, and Camembert cheese, and the hard cheese examples are American cheese, Swiss cheese, and Roquefort cheese. And based on the fat content, it is again divided into fat content. It is again divided into two types, that is high fat cheese and low fat cheese. And based on the physical state of structure, it is again divided into soft, semi-hard and hard. Thank you. Please consider subscribing. Thank you so much.